Listen, listen, listen. Welcome to Monday Night Tour Ramblings, where I will ramble on for, I don't know, maybe 3 hours. There's not a lot of news, to be 100% honest. That's why, if you were paying attention early, you would have seen the thumbnail just said another ToyTube show, because I really didn't have a topic. And when I realized how little information or how little news there was, I said, you know what? Something that we need to talk about. And it's basically come up because of a lot of people in the GI Joe community and what they whine and cry about because they're getting something that they don't want, or that they think they shouldn't get, or why did they do this, or not my lore. Again, classified as something different, but what is the true canon of GI Joe? And I think most people have heard not only my feeling, but what I truly do believe that it is, because in my opinion, there is one guy that created Star Wars. That is George Lucas. And if he says that it's true, then that's what it. Well, there is a George Lucas of the GI Joe, a real American hero, not of all GI Joe, but of a real American hero. I think that's where the majority of our lore comes from, our canon, whether it be our head canon, even other things. So we will discuss that at the end of the show. Sometimes I have these great ideas for these topics, and they turn out to be like a 3-minute topic because it doesn't take me that long to get through everything. And when you're doing stuff alone, well, sometimes it's sometimes it goes quicker. So we'll see. But either way, I will be here for a little bit for sure. So anyway, thank you guys all for tuning in. I love the fact that some of you guys stopped to give me some of your time after a hell of your first Monday back. Most people are working, they're 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Not everyone, I understand that. But anyway, thank you guys all for tuning in. I definitely do appreciate it. 36 people watching right now, so please hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't. It's kind of crazy. I talked about this before. A lot of people, the show just pops up, reviews pop up. They're not even subscribed to the channel because they don't realize it. Due to a few videos this year, everything's kind of blown up, and we're headed towards 9,000 fairly quickly. I mean, right now we're sitting at 8590, so closing on that 86. I don't think we have probably 10 people that aren't subscribed to the channel that are watching, but maybe you're watching on the replay. Maybe you just came across the channel and you're like, wow. Maybe you saw me on the Circle of Jerks and didn't realize that I have my own channel. I do. It's crazy how that works. Anyway, how was everyone's weekend? I hope you guys all had a lot of fun. It's starting to get cold again. Some people might have found some stuff in Target. I've said it before. I enjoy my toy collecting, and I enjoy just having BBTS or Amazon, Hasbro Pulse, getting it. I enjoy going to Sergeant Red's and picking it up there, and when he gets stuff in. But there is something special about going and hunting, and when you see that something is popping up, it's populating, and you are able to find it in store, there's still something. There's something very magical about that still. That's still that chase, and I wish I got to experience that more still, because I think the most frustrating thing about toy hunting is when you walk in and you realize there's not going to be anything new. I feel like we pretty much know that nothing is hit. So when something surprises us and it pops, wow, that's when we're excited, and we go hunting. And sometimes we find something, sometimes we don't. But this week was a good week for a lot of people. We'll get into that in a little bit. So anyway, we did do a little toy hunting. I finally finished Yellowstone. So anyone that's been watching the Yellowstone shows, and I've talked about it at 1823, and what was it's 1889, and then it was 1920. I don't know. Matthew will tell me what I got wrong, what I got right. But Starting on March 1st is Why Marshals, which is Yellowstone Marshals. It is about Casey Dutton, the son. So I had to finish it up because over on the TV terminal with Adam Vale, we're going to be covering that show. So please head on over there and subscribe to the channel. I've had some time off. He's been, I know, recording some stuff, but I've been off from the channel since we finished up our last show, Landman, which once again created by Taylor Sheridan. If you're not watching Taylor Sheridan stuff, then hey, maybe you don't enjoy TV, and that is perfectly fine. But I finally finished it. It was a fitting end. I don't want to spoil anything too much for people. But everyone knows that the main actor, the father of the show, he left, and I thought they really did a good job of how they, how they removed him. And the last, I think it was 6 episodes, maybe it was 5 or 6 episodes, and it was one of those shows that I have to say, I felt that they really wrapped things up. They touched on almost everyone that had a story, so you weren't left wondering what happened. And I thought they gave enough to everyone, but not too much. So anyway, let's say hi to the chat before we get started. As we said, we got 37 people watching. We've been jumping into the 40s, into the 30s. Let's say hi to everyone. And we have GI Bro, who has the best guns in the community. We have MTC Collects. Tom, you better stick around because we are going to be highlighting something that you sent to this home. Matthew Matson, my moderator, jumping in with his... We got Cooking with Eric, Toy Beliefert, Nolan, which makes us ToyTube official, SCS Dog. We have Backwoods, David R. We have Rowdy Riles jumping in, Snow Wolf. Let's see, I put that L in there so no one can complain and say that I didn't say it. We have Viper Scout here. We have Ronnie Trickshot saying, good day, everyone. Sorry, I've been AOL for a couple of weeks. I haven't been well. I'm the mend now, though. Well, Ronnie, it's always nice to have you. And I'm going to tell you this, and I don't think that I've told you this. You gave me your shirt at Joe Fest, the Ronnie Trickshot shirt. It is one of the best fitting shirts for me. I know a lot of people think that I wear a medium because sometimes it looks like maybe I'm trying to look like I'm bigger than I am. I always wear a large, and sometimes the larges are too tight on me. But I can't wear an extra large because I'm short and it would just be hanging. But that one fits awesome. So I love this shirt. Honest to God. I like the logo, but I really like the shirt in general. We got Clint Jorgensen here, Alex Martinez. I think I already said that. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I did. Russell Lemieux jumping in here when you're reviewing the Desert Rumbler. I did not order the Desert Rumbler. You're going to have to head on over to Bees Battleground. I believe his is up, but I know he got it. Hey, you have to pick and choose at times, and I mentioned, hey, some things I gotta pick and choose. I will say this: the colors I like better than the one that I have. But for $325, about $350 after shipping and tax. Yeah, just a little too steep for everything else. Kuda's Garage is here. We have Ultra Mesh in the house. Let's see here. Who else is here? Troy Believer says, only the Hamaverse is real. I draw from everything for Joe's though. And we're going to talk about that for sure. We have a 3-star draw saying Roman. The kid's mom is here to pick up our son because he has to have all his wisdom teeth pulled tomorrow, which doesn't leave much wisdom left in him. Jeff has someone's in. If you can't hear it, somebody is here. Jeff is here. So is Olivia. Ultramatch says March is going to be rough. 5 G.I. Joe pre-orders coming up, possibly. It may come sooner. 2 Action Force figures and Vanguard. Yeah, I went over budget. Sometimes you just have to do it. MTC Collect saying, I went to 5 Targets saying, end up with 1 4-year-old TMT figure. Why? Mendoza is here. Let's see here. 3 star says, I don't think I've ever been less interested in an upcoming show than I am for Y Marshals. I don't know why. I don't know why. And Alex Martinez says, I personally think Taylor Sheridan is a good. I agree with you. He creates characters, he creates stories, he builds, and I honestly almost everything that he's done. Oddly enough, the only show that I really of his that I can think of that I didn't watch was Mayor of Kingstown, which come to find out actually is supposed to take place in Michigan, outside of Detroit. So yeah. Viper Scout says, I liked how they wrapped up the story. Casey is a badass, and that is dumb as originally thought. Yeah, well, remember, he's a Navy SEAL. So, I mean, you say what you want, but those frogmen aren't dumb. But you're absolutely correct. I think that they finally showed him in a light. And one thing that I really liked about those last few episodes, you never really see Beth and Casey interacting properly. They're together. There's obviously, I won't say tension, but they were never super close. And I thought they did a wonderful job with the circumstances and showing how much they actually care for each other, or at least for the family. Machine Man is here. Bobby Wool jumping in here. Feels like I tuned into a punk with shows. Hey, there's only so much. You only talk so much toys for 3 hours alone. Beardy McBeardison is here. Let's see. Is there anyone else? And Ronnie saying, thanks, bro. You're too. No, honestly, I mean it. That shirt really fits really well. Jim Smith, short is 6 inches taller than you. Hey, that's what people say, but hey, who knows? Devil Dog jumping in and saying, what's up, everyone? Glad to be here. And glad to have you here. Glad to have everyone here. All right, I think we're getting close to the bottom here. We got Cal Shave here, and then we have Graf. And let's see, one last person is Yojo Daddy saying, what's up, punk? What's up, fellas? Y'all smash that like button and subscribe. Thank you very much. All right, Mamu Nestor, my moderator, Matthew, saying 1883, 1923 in Yellowstone. And once again, we get Y Marshals coming. I believe there's 1934. I think of another show they're going to do. And then I think there's another. Oh, yeah, there's that other spinoff that I have no idea how I wish he would have just worked all of his stuff into the same universe. It doesn't have to be, again, it doesn't have to be the exact same, but I wish they work everything into the same universe. Same time, Toys is here, who I will be a guest on this Saturday. Now, I was a little offended that he didn't think that I was enough star power to just have just one person on. He has I'm like one of 10 people that he's going to have on his show. So if you want to tune in, please do. Over on Same Time Toys, I will be there 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will be there. I don't know what we're going to talk about. He said there was possibly some 90210 talk, which would bring my daughter on. I thought maybe that would make everyone tune out, but I don't care. Todd C is here saying, Ohio. I like how you spelt it. All right. So let's get to it really quickly. All right. I'll talk about everything that I got in a second. But so MTC messaged me and he said, hey, I'm really late. I wanted to get this out ahead of time. And he showed me this picture. And I was like, hey, you know what? Just do what you need to do. Okay. I didn't really think too much of it. All right. And then he said, hey, it should be there on Monday. And I was like, I didn't think. I thought you were just going to send me a picture of it, right? Just no big deal. I'm like, all right, I guess I'll wait for it. So Liquid Identity jumping in here saying, nice poll so far. Respect to the comic crew. I agree. And then we have Mike Gold jumping in here. All right. So I get home and I see this thing. And again, I get stuff all the time, obviously. But I see this here, right? And it is sitting on my porch. And as you can see, it says Olivia. I need to block out all the addresses, and you can see this little stitch right there. And then I was like, oh, I knew what it was, but well, I kind of knew what it was. And then I was like, why? First, I didn't understand why he sent it. I thought he was just going to message me it, right? Liv, do you want to come over and show and obviously say thank you to Tom MTC?
Hello, everybody.
Quickly, we have Paul Morales here.
Oh, I found it.
And here is MTC Collector right here, Tom. So,
okay, are you guys ready? Because you're not.
you need to bend down. So
they don't need to see me. They only have to.
Well,
see
they
us.
also need to see your half.
They're gonna be distracted by my beauty, and then like they have to only see this first. Wow!
Well, show it so
I can't show it. I don't know how to show it.
Like, did you see that? So no. he drew Buffy and Stitch, and you can see Stitch has the crossbow fighting vampires, and a nice frame. And honestly, God, Tom, I thought you know when you sent me the picture, it was you just had the outline of it, and you're like, yeah, I didn't have time to draw it. I want to do this, and I was like, oh, okay. And then you're like, I didn't know if I have time to, have time to color it. I was like, oh, well, just hurry up. I just thought you were gonna like scan it and send it over, but nope. For her birthday, because her birthday was on the 18th of last month.
So no.
The 18th of this month.
February, actually.
18th of last week.
Don't be shy to say happy birthday. Don't be shy.
Oh God, you're awful. No shame this one right here.
Why would I have shame? It's a celebration. Anyway,
Tom,
my life.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, no, you said.
Thank you, Tom. Best gift.
I'm not mad at you.
I'm just looking at you.
I think it's awesome.
I'm just looking over at you.
And you have a Buffy and Stitch together, fighting vampires.
Yes. Framed. I don't even have to do any work.
You gotta hang it.
Not hanging it.
Okay. You should see where she's like, I can hang this anywhere, and then she's trying to cram it in between the lights.
No, I said it can go right here, right?
It can go right here. Yeah, under the calendar, in between the light switch and the door frame. I'm like, you can't fit there.
So everyone can see it. It's really
he says, "You're welcome. It was fun. Thank you. Honestly, God, really."
Guys, I don't see any happy birthdays.
Oh, it's because your birthday is long gone. It was It was last week.
5 days.
Joe Fan 84 jumping in here. I know you have one birthday. It's not the birthday month. Where? What? See, G.I. Jetman is here.
No, go up to.
What? How many rulers are left?
All of them. Haven't you guys seen me signing them out?
They're all right here.
Every single time I need to use one, I sign it out.
They're all here. To all the people that are new, that don't know the story, there was one day on stream. Everything happens on stream. That's the only reason why. She needed a ruler for school. I didn't know where there was a ruler. I don't know why she didn't have a ruler.
Because I've never needed one before.
And
perhaps.
By the end of the show, people had sent me numerous links to Amazon for rulers. So I ordered a pack of like 7 rulers, and they sit there. And then one day, a year later, it happened on stream. She came in and asked where the rulers are, and I couldn't find them because they fell down in the pouch. But anyway, Tom says, I can't draw realistic faces, so I tried a Disney Princess Buffy.
I like it.
I think it looks great, Tom, so don't sell yourself short. I'm short, obviously. And then Billy Butch jumping in here to say, obligatory happy birthday, Lil Punk.
Thank you. Any others?
You got a whole bunch last week.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Keep on coming. Where to go?
Right there at the bottom.
Thank you.
You are something else.
Keep spamming the whole stream, guys. Don't worry.
She already got her birthday wishes in for on Circle of Jerks, so we're good.
Girl dad. That's how you know he's for real. That's how you know he's legit.
Because he's okay. Oh, look, there's Tony right there. Happy birthday, creep.
Creep?
Yes.
Why am I creep?
I don't know. Because you talk his ear off?
That's not a creep, though. That's just a
All
talker.
Right. Go do what you need to do.
It's just a talker.
Yes, you are. All right.
Whatever.
Thank you to everyone that stuck around for that. I told you 20 minutes into it. Look at 20 minutes.
Thank you to everyone who stuck around for that.
Yeah, stick around for...
Do you mean thank you for everyone who shared the live so they could see it?
Wow.
You probably got more views.
She has no shame whatsoever.
What shame would I have?
Which I love.
What shame would I have?
I guess you don't need any shame.
Exactly.
Okay. Anyway, love you. Go do what you need to do.
Like, do you? Because this is kind of like looking mean there.
Yeah, I think everyone knows that. I think everyone knows that I love you.
I hope so.
Yeah.
But I might be adopted, so.
You might be. And then I've been paying a lot of child support that I should not have.
I actually almost fell up the stairs multiple times.
Well, I don't know. Tube Top jumping in here. And then we also have Super Devin saying she's trying to hijack the stream. She needs to tell us her favorite Joe.
My favorite? I see the Baroness.
I don't know where she pulled that out, but actually I know exactly where.
Thank you, Gavin. Don't forget to thank Gavin. From Target. From Target, don't forget.
She says you aren't. Clinton Jorgensen says you aren't getting into Michigan law by watching YouTubers. That is all she does. And you got a lot of happy birthdays.
Oh my gosh!
Ultra match.
Keep them coming.
All
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Did you know they decided to stream on my birthday? Circle of Jerks.
That's because it was our 1 year anniversary.
They took my birthday and tried to make it into something else. Always remember, February 18th belongs to Olivia.
Okay. Anyway,
I almost said my full name.
No, you only say your full name when you're on 90210 because that's how they all introduce themselves. All right. Anyway, back to the show that will have little to do about toys. I'm just kidding. There was something. William Emery saying, "Good evening, Punk and chat. Happy birthday, Olivia. Have a great show." All right.
Thank you.
If you're watching on the replay or you're new and you're like, what the hell is that? Listen, she is as much about this show. And she is as much of this show as my dog Roman is, who I know you haven't seen in a while because he has a torn ACL. So right now we're keeping him downstairs. Keeping him downstairs for a while. So hopefully he'll be back up soon after that. All right. So videos that I dropped this week that you may have seen. Maybe you didn't see. I did some classic videos. Zorana came out. Xandar. Low Light. Lift Ticket came out today. I had to push it back. Coming out this week. We have the Tomahawk. And then I have both mainframes. And by both mainframes, I mean mainframe and Brazilian mainframe, which somehow I had as a kid, but I don't have the other ones. But there were some other ones. And one was Hooded Cobra Commander. Now, before anyone says anything, was it clickbait? Not necessarily. Clickbait is when you say you're going to do something in a video and there's no payoff. There clearly was a payoff. I think we all know what Big Bad Workshop, Fresh Monkey Fiction, at the time, they were working together. But what Soldier of the Fortune, what they were doing. They clearly wanted to give you a hooded Cobra Commander to put on your Cobra Commander, and they matched the color pretty well. So if you haven't watched the video and you're a G.I. Joe fan and you're in this chat right now, I don't know how you missed it because it has almost 8,000 views in 4 days. which is really good for me. I don't buy my views or stuff like that, so I don't get those extra ones, to make it seem like I have 90,000 views when I clearly don't. So I dropped that, and I had a few people say that it was clickbait. I wouldn't call it clickbait, but it was misleading to say that it was classified Cobra Commander, but I did put Soldiers of Fortune in it. And yes, I did it on purpose because I knew that, well, believe me, I've watched my analytics, and if I've put G.I. Joe Classified in it, it does much better than anything else. Search result clickbait. I like it. Again, I gave you the payoff of Hooded Cobra Commander. I also reviewed the agent. So again, I do understand, but in the end, it was a really good video, a good figure. It had 2 left feet. I didn't even get a chance to contact them. They watch these videos, they watch these reviews. Big Bad Workshop made a comment. They said, don't. They said, we will ship you out another one, and I received it yesterday. So I didn't even have a chance to contact them. They sent out another figure to replace the 2 left feet. So much appreciated to Big Bad Workshop, Bill over there, and everyone else that is working over there. To me, that shows a lot. I don't expect all these companies to watch my reviews or anyone else's, but it is nice to know that they're watching some, and hopefully they're using some of, whatever we say. Like, hopefully that, they're looking at what we have to say, and they're using that to make some adjustments. We have Derek Holloman jumping in and saying, picked up volume 1 of Skybound G.I. Joe Compendium at GameStop for $32 at GameStop yesterday. You said that twice. Crusty Old Crow jumping in here, just listening in while I recover from digging out my car. Screw winter. Oh, I'm sorry, Crow. Into Mystery jumping in here, say, what will you do with the extra hood? I will go in the bag with other stuff. just goes in the bag with the other stuff. The Savage Land jumping in here. How are you doing? It's been a long time since I've seen you, and Joe Fest is coming up. I hope you're going to go to Joe Fest so we can hang out again. I had a blast. We didn't hang out that much, but enough. So I'm hoping you'll be there again. If you're not watching the Savage Land, you're not subscribed to his channel, please head on over there and do that. Just don't leave the channel for long. Make sure you come back. Son of a Crayon Slayer jumping in here. And then Annuity, how are you? I haven't seen you around here in a while. All right, so I got that agent, Hoodie Cobra Commander. Did well, and I think most people will be happy with it. If you're not, listen, I've heard there are a lot of people, again, some of those comments, I will reiterate what I've said to people. Some Joe fans are just that. They don't know anything else. If anyone clicked on that and then was like, oh, I thought this was a real classified, Hooded Cobra, where have you been? Like, they haven't made one yet. Remember, there are rumors. There are strong rumors, and I tend to believe what I have heard. So just if you're like, I want a Hasbro one, that is, again, so many people said it, I don't want to knock off. It's cool. I got Chatsworth in. I had one person say, I think it was on Facebook, they felt the need to say that loose collectibles makes the best Bigfoot going right now. All right, great. But this isn't that. This is for your Operation Monster Force. It is a different type of Bigfoot, and that's great. It's like eating a piece of pizza and being like, this place makes a better piece of pizza. Oh, awesome. Like, I'll get that one another time then, I guess. I don't know. Sean Forrester jumping in here. And then I got the enemy, the spy. No, wait. Actually, the enemy was Hooded Cobra Commander. the agent, the spy, which I liked more after I opened him up. Soldiers of Fortune. Again, these are all the Big Bad Workshop stuff. I like that one more than I thought. The accessories that it comes with is total world building. I think it's done a great job. The inserts are really cool. They are designed by Gridiron. Now I don't know if all the money that's in it, the passport, I don't know if that's all Gridiron design, but I know the case is. But that was really cool. I like the different head sculpts. A matter of fact, I took one of the Black Watch agents that you saw in that, and I put the white head with the patch over its eye. I put that one on it. They both have smoking cigarettes. Not that I smoke, but I think it's awesome that we're getting something like that. Really good for storytelling. Savage Land says, for sure, I'll be there, fam. We will kick it for sure. Oh, dude. Yeah, gonna have a blast, man. And new to be saying, hey, Sam, everyone else. No, it's great to have some of these names I haven't seen in a while. And again, I don't. There's a lot of people that get mad when people aren't around. Hey, we all get lives, so it's great to see that the show still pops up in other people's, in the streams, and when people have a chance to jump in, I love it. I absolutely love it. Okay, now we're gonna get to the big one. Well, actually, Hooded Cobra Commander was the big video. The other video was the G.I. Joe Classified Cobra La Royal Guard. Now, this thing came out of nowhere. And what I mean by nowhere, I believe we pre-ordered it last week, right? Didn't they go up for pre-order either last week, maybe the week before? And it popped up. The people were finding it at Target. So Friday night, I was sitting there and I said to Olivia, I said, you know what? Want to go to Target? And she's like, you don't have to twist my arm. So we went to Target. First off, Action Figs, my moderator, jumping sir. I've been watching, had to wait by the phone. Happy Monday, everybody. No worries at all, Ed. So I went there, and I forget who posted it, but it was the barcode. I forget who posted it. So I sent Bobby a message, Bobby B. I said, hey, do you have the barcode? He's like, hold on. I saw someone who had it. I'm like, so did I, and I can't fucking find it. That's the worst. Like, I got distracted, and I forgot to screenshot it. And then he sends it, and I'm like, okay, cool. So I got the barcode. I got the DCPI. All right. So I walked over to the scanner, and I scanned the barcode off my phone. It pops up out of stock. Now, that doesn't always mean anything. But before I was like, well, let's go find someone, Olivia says, well, take the back. I got it back. I know, my stories are long. That's why you're here. We went to one Target, and I scanned it. It didn't show anything. So I asked the guy, got the DCPI. Boom. He scans it. He says, it looks like they're coming in Sunday. Are there any other stores? Now, understand this. I want people to understand this, okay? This is a little secret, and I don't know why I'm nice to people. I'm the one in the Circle of Jerks chat. I say, hey, we have to be nicer to people. You can't just fucking jump down people's throats, right? It makes us look bad. But I try and be nice by telling people what to do to find it, and I get fucking shit back. Like, all right, you know what? Fuck you then. I'll just do my fucking review, and every time someone fucking posts about it, I'll just fucking link my review so I can get more views and make money off you guys. I'm not that type of guy. Although I wanted to say a few choice words for some people. Anyway, so he looks and he says, well, we're supposed to be getting them in on Sunday. It shows this store and this store have 6 each. I said, thank you. About a 20-minute drive, maybe 15-minute drive. I don't know, not that far. Again, I got lots of Targets in my area. So I said to Olivia, I said, you know what? Let's go there. I've actually had some pretty good luck. I found 2 original Cobra Island Vipers there. So I head over there. We walk over, scan it, right? There you go. You can't really see this one, all right, but it's on the review if you need it. I scan it. It says out of stock, and Olivia says it says out of stock in the back. Ooh, so I walk over. Gavin, we remembered his name. He said he looked it up and said, "Well, it looks like we have 6 in the back. Let me go check for you." Thank you, Gavin. Gavin comes out, hands me one because that's all that I had asked for. And I found another one today. And that's it. You're good. Because they got the DCPI. So for some odd reason, they're keeping these in the back. I don't know why, but it seems like most of these are being held in the back right now. Eventually, they'll be put out unless if they all sell out. So I came home, did the review, put it out the next morning. Again, I watch way too much YouTube to see how things go, and I want to break things up. I don't, especially at night. I feel like if it goes overnight, a lot of times the algorithm kills it. So I like to start things off in the morning if possible, unless if it's something that is brand new. I figured I could wait a day. Bobby B had already dropped his. I did see that Evil Dookie is here. At least I think so, because everyone's saying hi to Evil Dookie. I just don't see it. There it is. Evil Dookie right there. We got Billy Boy's Toys jumping in here. Matthew says, even when the assholes lied to me about one store, I was still nice and polite, and that's how you need to be. So I stopped at another Target today. I wanted to get a second one. I wanted to get a second one because I wanted to have 2. I already have one, on Amazon, but I'm like, hey, you know what? I can get it for the same price because I have the Target Red card. Amazon's were $41. I got the Target Red card. Why not? Gun Bunny Customs jumping in here. But anyway, I stopped at another one. They had 5 in the back. So he brought one out. He said, how many do you want? I said, just one. What's it? So what I'm telling you, if you want this, like if you have Targets by you and you're interested in this, go in there. If you scan the barcode, again, my barcode isn't working all that well, but you can get it off my video. I stop and I hold it up there. I can't remember who else. I can't remember who the other person did. When you scan it, if it's in stock in the back, it'll say out of stock in the back. Then you just get the DCPI, go over to someone, ask them very politely, hey, I looked here. It says you have this in the back. Do you mind scanning this or looking up a DCPI and see if they have it? And I had numerous people in my comments say, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I did exactly what you said and I was able to grab one. Awesome. Like I'm not trying to hide anything. I'm not trying to gatekeep it. That's all you have to do. So, Chaz the Guru jumping in here saying, I put my Kieran wig on and get my figs. This is what I want to say. Do not run around and spread fucking rumors and shit. I have always been upfront and honest on where I get my shit. If I've ordered it from overseas, when I've ordered a few things from Return of the Nerd, I tell you. If I get it from the CMD store, I tell you. If I got it from Sergeant Reds, I tell you. And I tell you why Sergeant Reds gets it early if I know. From Amazon, don't fucking tell people that I spent over $100 on something and it's a complete fucking fail because they're all populating. They're all popping up. First, even if I did, that's my fucking money. But 2, I didn't fucking do it. And when you do shit like this, people fucking see it and people have a fucking issue with you. All right? The fact of the matter is, if I would have bought this on eBay, I would have said, hey, I ordered this on eBay. And guess what? I got fucked. Just like when that wave of Dark Lawn, Footloose, and all those figures, they showed up on CMD store. I ordered them, and the next day or 2, they showed up all over at Target. I got fucked, and it didn't matter. I did my reviews. I got the extra figures. I sent one over to my moderator. I still have a Dark Lawn that's sitting there in the box downstairs. And I don't know what I did with the other figures. I think I took them back. I think I took them back to Target when I got them and just recouped some of my money. Either way, the point is, don't fucking do shit like that. All right? I'm very honest. I'm as transparent as it can be. I will fucking tell you where I get it from. And if somebody wants to do, if they want to get they want to get stuff early, they want to do reviews, and that's what they do, then so be it. It's your money. As long as you are taking care of your family, putting a roof over your head, putting food on the table, then that's all that really fucking matters. In all honesty, that's all I have to say on that. All right. So understand this. I didn't order from eBay. I got it from Amazon. I have the fucking receipts. It pisses me off. It just fucking pisses me off when people say shit like that. And if you watch the video, and literally I had people ask, I even had someone, and I was kind of rude to them. In the first minute, I told people exactly where I got it and showed the barcode to avoid that question in the comments. And it was still the first question that I got. Anyway, this guy shows up. Baldy Locks, Preach Punk, who I will be on tomorrow. Circle of Jerks. Do we have a topic? I really don't know. I really don't fucking know if we have a topic. I don't know if we have a topic. Do we ever? It doesn't really matter. But anyway, Liquid Identity says, do people think these things just show up without any effort and money on your part? Well, yes, I think a lot of people do. I think a lot of people do think that I get free product. I very rarely get free product, and I don't get anything from Hasbro. I can tell you that much. Do I have a few things? I have something that was sent to me by 4D2 that I haven't had a chance to review. I have some stuff coming from someone else. I've had more than enough stuff coming from Top Fun Toys that I review. I have a link, so yeah, every now and then, but stuff like this, I've talked about this, right? Like sometimes we get fucked. There are times that I get fucked. I order from one place and another one, I order from multiple places. That's how I get them early. Sometimes I get screwed because I have two figures that charge at the same time. You guys don't care about that because it's really not your problem. This is me trying to grow my channel, and I'm willing to take the risk. So you're never going to hear me complain about it or anything like that. But it's true. Like, honestly, yeah, it takes work, and it's something that I choose to do. Shockwave jumping in here. And I did give you the retro snake eyes. So Jim Smith jumping in here saying, stop lying. You flew to China for it. Yes. And then I did my review while flying back. Action Figure Soul separately jumping in here. Great to see you. And I'm waiting. What? NHN Sounds. You get it from Greg. No. Sometimes Greg will lend me stuff. I actually haven't seen Greg in probably about 6 months. I'm actually still sitting on the Dire Viper that I've had since Assembly Required, because I haven't seen him since right before then. So now I'm still I haven't seen Greg in a while. Believe it or not. And Greg gets stuff in that I don't review anymore. Like I don't review Valiver stuff, and he still gets it, and I say I have no interest in reviewing it. So Grizzlehorn says Punk paid me not for views, but things between us. Hey, that was supposed to stay between us. Anyway, that was a long diatribe that I just ran out there. Okay. So we will talk about it a little bit. There's been a little bit of drama with Red Sonja. Now, if anyone watched my Boss Fight Studios review of Red Sonja, which is probably about a year old now, they did really well. Can't complain about it. Really good figure, but there has been some drama, and it seems that the Four Horsemen were going to do this. Well, they're still doing the figure, but they had a one of the female heads, actually two of the female heads, had red hair and it had makeup on it, and it says the owner of the property, I believe, not the license holder. Well, not the license holder, because the license holder is Boss Fight Studios, but the owner of Red Sonja started blasting all over, like, any comment from that they're not the license holder. They're not the license holders. It was really weird. And not Boss Fight. Four Horsemen actually backed down and is now taking the heads out of that. And we'll talk about it later on when we get to it, but it's really odd. They haven't said that it's Boss Fight Studios. There is no sure sign that is Boss Fight Studios. And until people know that it is Boss Fight Studios, then people shouldn't act like it is. Because again, it could be, but again, it's spreading those rumors so people think that it is, and it's that shit I fucking hate, dude. Like, again, I've had rumors spread about me and lies spread about me that come up that they're so unfounded that, again, I think people know what I'm going to do if someone spreads a lie about me. TK Storm jumping in says, "Sup, Punk and chat." But yeah, really weird. And for them to do that, and it reminds me of somebody else that was saying that they were getting false copyright strikes, and all they were doing was promoting their channel and all the comments. Very similar to that, but it was weird. And like they said, I'm going to contact, like anyone that reviews it, or all the content creators, I'm going to contact them. It seems really, really odd. It seems really odd. And Boss Fight does hold the master license for Red Sonja. But again, for them to do something like that, if it was them, it seems like they're at shows together with them. And unless if there's ever been, like, if someone's like, yeah, they've had issues before, why would they do something like that? Just really, really odd. And again, it's not something I like. When someone is like throwing out accusations that people have no idea about. And there are people that are not a fan of the Boss Fight Studios company. They feel they've done some shady stuff. I don't know enough about it. And a lot of it is because I don't look into Boss Fight and how that company is run. I've heard rumors, but I don't look enough into it. But for them to do something like this, I just don't think that it has anything to do with them. It seems like the owner of the property who licensed it out is the one that's doing it. Cobra Commander saying, "What up, gang?" Jumping in here. And then Andrew Taylor says, "Boss Fight Studios cannot do that, but the licensor has to if they have the license out there." But again, it's the thing is, it's not Red Sonja. It's an homage. And we'll see when we get to the pictures. I can kind of see some of them. I can see some of them. And Jim Smith says, "Boss Fight hands aren't clean in IP theft." But this has nothing to do with IP. Again, one issue does not pertain to the other. That's all that I'm saying, right? Like, I understand. I do not follow Boss Fight Studios enough. I hear stuff, but again, I could definitely go down that road of other companies saying, I know certain things and what they've done and different things like that. So I'm not saying I don't know enough, but in this case, I don't believe that it was Boss Fight Studios that was doing anything like this. It seems a little, a little. It's a little shady to be doing stuff, but that's how we do things these days. Social media, right? Rather than contact someone directly and say, "Hey, you know what? We need to have a conversation about this. Hey, let's put it on social media to try and blast them to try and make them look bad." And Cobra Commander says, "I don't care what they say about you, punk. You are okay in my book." Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Andrew Taylor says Red Sonja LLC has a legal obligation to protect the license for the license holder. Yes, except for what I'm saying is it's not Red Sonja. That was the only thing. And let's say you're correct. The proper way to do it is to not go on social media and every single time someone makes a comment about it that you keep telling everyone that they're not the licensee. The proper channel is to contact them first and talk to them. And then if you feel like, hey, this impedes on our license, then we will send a cease and desist. That's what I'm saying. So it's close enough to survive a motion to dismiss in court. Again, I'm just saying, I think that there's a better way to do it. And in the end, they're the ones that look bad. The owner of Red Sonja property, whoever, they're the ones that look bad in this. That's the whole point. Lost Ranger jumping in here saying Bridget Nielsen is in the chat now. Yeah. And Matthew says spamming comments is not the way to handle protecting the license. And that is exactly it right there. Better term than I was able to come up with. They were spamming the chat. Okay, you weren't talking directly to the company. And again, for me, there's a proper way to do it. You talk to if you think that that's it. Okay, so a lot of drama, and again, I'm gonna say something that'll probably get me in trouble. The Mythic Legion's cult, and is very, very loyal. And all you're going to do by doing stuff like that is get them, if this has nothing to do with Boss Fight Studios, they are going to turn every bit of aggression towards Boss Fight Studios. That's what they do. I'm not saying that's what mob mentality does. And even though, let's say Boss Fight has nothing to do with it, and I don't think they do. Again, I don't think that's, again, the proper way to handle things. Pretzel John jumping in to say, I never knew people cared so much about Red Sonja. They shouldn't care about that movie. Matter of fact, I didn't realize there was a fucking movie till I was there was a fucking movie last year till I was looking up pictures and went, oh, there was a movie. We got Stephen K jumping in here. We have Dominic Johnson saying, hit that like button, everyone. Yes, please do. Balding Lock says, could you imagine the field day Hasbro, Mattel, and Disney would have if this was the norm? If some of those companies, and we know for a fact that Hasbro has sent cease and desist to people. And again, they have every right to. You have every right to. But again, imagine Hasbro just spamming. Hasbro Pulse spamming someone on Instagram. And this, yeah. And as Matthew said, they were harassing potential customers. So J Astro. Hey, J Astro here. SCS Dog says, Punk, I think you missed it. I think you missed an opportunity for a C&D against Hasbro for Leatherneck. I could have, especially with my hair looking like this. Anyway, it's a mess. Red Sonja movie is worth it for Arnold is not canon. Yeah, but there was a Red Sonja movie last year. There was a Red Sonja movie last year. Brian King jumping in here, and then we have Kyle Funk saying, "What's up, Punk? Hope all is well. I was at Pensacon this past weekend, met Dina Meyer and Michael Ironsider and the Lost Boys cast. It was great. And now I'm going to Monster Jam in July." That was okay. I don't think we've ever brought up Monster Jam on the show, but hey, we are inclusive. Todd C says Punk is better like this lawsuit against Marvel for the character Puck. That was not nice. All right. Okay. So we're gonna get into the toy news in a second. At the end of next month, as of right now, March 26th. Now I know many of you might be thinking, what's special about March 26th is the anniversary of the absolute greatest regular season hockey game of all time, the Detroit Red Wings versus the Colorado Arrogance, when there was finally revenge given to that turtle, Claude Lemieux, when Darren McCarty got to beat the living pulp out of him, and everyone got to watch him turtle. They had a goalie fight, and in the end, it was won by Darren McCarty in overtime. And you guys don't care about that. We're working on something special. So for that Thursday, because it's a Thursday, that Thursday with the friend, as of right now, myself and my two moderators will be on. And we're looking to have something. We're looking to make something special that hopefully you guys enjoy, that you're going to like. It's not free. Just remember that. It's not something that will be free, but it's something that I hope you guys will enjoy. But we'll get into that, and I'll be talking about it a little bit more as we approach then. But I want you guys all to kind of just think, if you've been watching Hell Adult Toys, maybe you'll get a little hint there of what could be. But anyway, wait for the end of March. I'll be talking about it a little bit more, and then you'll probably start to see some things kind of pop up. But anyway, and then look at Tony says hockey, whatever. Yeah, Tony, hockey. Those guys would whoop your ass, send you right back to Mexico. Tony's not from Mexico. He's from Arizona. All right. Well, let me take a breather, as God knows I need one after that. So here we go.
And now back to Cobra News Now.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have received word that our field correspondent, Scrap Iron, is on scene at Mars Industries, and he has interviewed a few eyewitnesses and forwarded those statements over to us as he tries to get closer for a better vantage point on the fire. So let's take a listen to these eyewitness statements and see if we can discover what has happened here tonight.
All right, so I'm out here just ripping this mini ramp that's made by Mars Industries. Don't ask, I don't understand why they sponsored it. But anyway, I hear this huge explosion, and I hear all these people yelling and screaming that this thing's on fire, and they tell me to call 911, so I call 911. We got the ESU police here, and we got the firefighters, and wait a minute, don't you work for Mars Industry and the Iron Grenadiers too?
Oh yeah, that's a wicked fire, eh? Good bonfire for burning the moose on. Kind of reminds me, it reminds me of the one that we did at Justin Bieber every year at the Stratford Festival. Just as much smoke, big flame. We do that to keep Sasquatch away. What'd you do yours for, eh?
Yeah, how you doing? I was walking down the street, hanging out, minding my own business. About to sit down on the park bench here and just enjoy my meal here. I got a nice little delicious lunch made by my wife, my lovely wife. She's a great cook. Sometimes not the best, but listen, We all suffice, right? And I'm sitting there on the bench about to open up my lunch box after a long day of working with construction workers. If you haven't noticed, I got this hard hat on, right? And I'm sitting here chilling. And next thing you know, I smell burning. And I go, what was that? And then the explosion, the loud, boom! I'm like, oh, what the hell was that? What's going on? You sound like Aaron Judge cracked a home run. I'm freaking out. I look up, and Mars Industries is on fire. And I'm like, yo, what the hell is this? The building just blew up. It's on fire now. And no one can have any answers. Nobody has any answers. Next thing you know, the fire shows up. The cops show up. Nobody knows what's going on. But damn things for sure, that building blew up. Now listen, I ain't no conspiracy theorist, but I'll tell you this. The owner of that building, he wears a metal helmet. Who's wearing a metal helmet? Just to do business. Something don't smell right. You understand what I'm saying? That building, that was an inside job. You can quote me on that. Thank you for having me on the news. I've never been on the news before. This is fantastic. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. And before we go, I want to shout out some people. My man Shane, my man Woody, my man Mike. I appreciate you all. Take it easy, guys. I appreciate you. I'm on the freaking news right now. This is fantastic.
Well, that was certainly something. So let's see if we can check back in with Scrap Iron and see if he's been able to locate Destro or the Baroness, find out the cause of this fire. Over to you, Scrap Iron. Scrap Iron. Scrap, are you there? Looks like we might be having some technical difficulties, and oh my God. Oh, I'm going to have to go over there now.
You know what I just realized, because I never watch it over here. I always have the other stream going on, so I know if I start, getting jittery or anything. I never realized, because StreamYard actually cuts off the bottom, that it had the names of like Frank and everything. I've never seen that until now. I just happened to be looking over, and then I went, "Oh, hey, it has names underneath it." I never realized that. And now, like, when I'm looking at this here, I can see like not all of my shirt is being shown. Really, really weird, StreamYard. I don't know what the purpose of that is. Anyway, Steve Chum says, going back to Tony hating hockey, that's why Phoenix lost their team. Yeah, if you can believe it, they actually took it from the Winnipeg Jets down there, and now I believe it is in Utah, and they're the Mammoth. I don't know how they come up with Mammoth. No, because it doesn't show it on StreamYard, and either I'm walking to the restroom and taking a quick pee, or I'm watching over here. I've never looked at it over here. It doesn't show up at all on StreamYard, which is really, really weird. Anyway, Troy jumping in here saying, "What's up, my dudes?" All right, so let's do this. We do have a little bit of news to talk about, and here we start with some Masters of the Universe. I guess the line is not dead. Can you imagine telling people that the line is dead for as many years as you did, and they're still pumping out action figures, even if maybe they're going through Club Grayskull? So anyway, Masters of the Universe Origins, Stone Dar, he drops on 2/24/2026. He has $22, and I don't know, I must have covered up over. I know I had that. Now, I'm confused because, please, my Motu friends, didn't they already have this figure? I swear they had this figure, because I remember being on Oz's Clubhouse and somebody was complaining about how when he forms into a rock that he doesn't fully close, and they had to make some modifications to it. What am I missing? Like, I swear. Oh, okay, wait. All right, so there it is. Okay. Jay Astro says they had a different one rock on it, but it's like the same one, right? Like, it's the same buck and everything, correct? Again, I thought the other figure looked dumb. I think this one looks dumb. I've been very complimentary of the Motu Origin stuff. I think that they do what they started doing when they went to Mattel Creations. I thought they gave you a great head sculpt. Normally, they didn't overdo it with accessories. I think it's hard to overdo it with accessories with a figure that can only has so much articulation. But this is just this is so fucking lame. And so was Rock On, which is a bad name too. But is it the same sculpt or what? He says the other one was a rock. This one is a stone. President John says definitely does not rock. Karen Shave says whoever designed him was stone. Clint Jorgensen says hopefully someone does his cosplay and multiverse. And then as Sketcher, I know we tried figuring this out. I think on Circle of Jerks, one's a rock and one's a stone. I'm dead. I disagree. And I think Motu Origins did a wonderful job. I'm not gonna say most of them are lame at all. Again, there are a lot of lame figures within a toy line. There's no doubt about it. I think that these ones are lame. I just do. Troy says rock and roll people. God Ravage. Oh, come on. Matthew, if you tell me that this person has been here, I'm going to tell you to fuck off.
Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. You got to understand, man. I never even saw these assholes before.
God Rabbit says, I'm kind of sad the comment wars are so short. And here's the whole thing. I understand he was a character when we were kids and that you had him. And again, I'm not saying they shouldn't create him because I think it's great that they're giving him with a little bit more articulation, but I think even Nolan would admit this guy is lame. This is a place in my heart. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think this is the greatest figure, but hey, it does go up on sale tomorrow. You have to be part of Club Grayskull, which is a $10 yearly thing. So you pay $10 and then they give you you pay $10 and then they say, hey, you can now buy this. But yeah, this is again there's a stone. Lost Ranger says Yetley let ye who makes the lamest toy cast the first stone. Like even though it says, yeah, he is. Cow Shave says Baldy needs to give him Rocky Dennis's face. No. This is Stone Dar. He have to give Rock On Rocky Dennis's. As the Sketcher says, anyone ever make the Transformers sound when transforming him? The crack rock. All right. I would just want to say big shout out to Mattel and the Master of the Universe for giving me so much fucking joy on such a shitty fucking figure. When I put it in here, I didn't think that I'd be laughing so hard. And Baldy says he's on it. I have a feeling this will be sent to me before the end of the show, but we will. Baldy, if you get it done today and send it to me, but I'm not going to show it. This is going to be cross promotion with Circle of Jerks Uh, Folks get Rocky Dennis is. If you don't know who Rocky Dennis is, well, that's a whole nother thing. Stephen K says, uh, you can put your turkey in it and hide it outside your house. Tripwire says, wait, is he bending over and grabbing his ankles? Alex, I'd buy that for $1. All right, so you get the gun that also plugs into his chest because why not? You get the Destroyer of Worlds. Oh, he's a rock. And the mistress says this will be a big hit. SCS Dog, beware of all the IG posts with Rolling Stones music. Now I want to just play Rolling Stones music. God Savage says, okay, he is a comet, not a rock, and you can imagine fighting a man made out of rocks. It is all how you look at it. This is a pretty powerful concept, plus the camouflage. Hey, I have nothing to say. I have nothing good to say about this figure, other than he gave me tears. You know, now that they rock on, they have Stone Dar. They need kidney stone, and it can be a giant kidney stone from all the Aldi pop. I shouldn't jinx myself. Oh my god. Anyway, if you want Stone Dar, it goes up tomorrow. Mattel Creations. You have to be part of Club Grayskull. $22 plus the $10 to have the honor to order the Destroyer of Worlds. What you collect and what you like, it's cool. The people will make fun of shit I like. People have already made fun of the our Cobra Law. It's cool. All right. Woo! NECA. I do believe we saw this figure, the Phantom of the Opera, Mask of the Red Death, but this is the black and white version. I know I talked about this one before, but not the black and white version. I gotta say, I've never seen Phantom of the Opera. That may come like a total shock to people. But I gotta say, like the black and white that they do with some of these figures, it really, really does pop. It's cool. It looks good. And you know, with them doing all the black and white photography, it truly does add to everything that you're seeing here. Ultra Mesh, I'm assuming this is going back to Stone Dar. You'd have to be a collector of the worst figures ever. Nolan says, love how everyone seems to hate on Cobra Law, but it always seems to sell out. I forgot to talk about that. Don't worry, Punk Rock Zartan was the same way. So I won't be picking this up, but I gotta say, it really does pop. And like I said, all the black and white stuff that they do, and it's something. It's unique, and you don't have a lot of companies that do it, but NECA really, you know, you can find a lot of their horror stuff that they go black and white on it, and it just works because we saw so many of those horror movies, those suspense horror movies when they were true horror movies, like they were in black and white. So if you have a black and white shelf with your NECA stuff, man, I think it works. Just like if you have one of those, you have a glow in the dark shelf, you have a translucent shelf. These are the things that really make collecting awesome. That, when someone walks into your room where you have your collections, and they just see a whole black and white shelf. But I think this looks good, and it really is a thing of nightmares. The black and white really, in my opinion, brings out the nightmares. And you also get a little bit of, especially here, They Live. And I know they've done the They Live figures, but you definitely get that They Live. So I don't have the price point because I couldn't find it. I believe they're $35. They may have gone up to $40. I'm not sure if NECA, but I think NECA is usually in the $35 to $40 range. That's the only reason why I don't have it up there. And if you guys don't know, I've actually been, so I don't go through this. I don't go through the like, shit, what's this guy's name? I've actually started to put the names in, the prices, so you guys know. Yeah, I didn't know what the price was, so that's the reason why I didn't add it. But usually the NECA stuff is anywhere from 35 to 40. So, and it'll be available at Target more than likely. Big Bad Toy Store, like all those places, they're NECA, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I know someone will know. NECA and NECA, we know the Four Horsemen, they pretty much mandate what the price is, and they keep it there. Indie Mystery says a lot of these black and white figures were at Ross. Yeah, well, that was really odd because I always talk about how you never see NECA really go on sale, very rarely. But you're right, there was a lot. I mean, I got this ET. At Ross this year for like $17. But again, if it's something you want, and this goes back to the G.I. Joe stuff and obviously Marvel Legends that I cover. If you want something, I'll say it again, buy it if you have the money. Don't play clearance chick it. If it's something where you're like, hey, I like that. I don't like it for $25, $30 or whatever it is. If I see it on clearance, I'll grab it or on sale. That's awesome. But if it's something you want, for me, I say don't play clearance chicken. Pick it up. So, and Nolan says, nice. I'm thinking about getting him. I just cherry pick Joe's. Yeah, me too. I cherry pick which ones I'm going to buy doubled. But yeah, again, this looks really, I mean, I think this looks good. It looks scary. I love the soft goods. The crazy face here. It really does pop. So, Into Mystery says the Thing, Kurt Russell, Ultimate TMT, currently at Ross. I know I remember seeing the Kurt Russell stuff at Ross over Christmas. There wasn't much stuff left. There was a lot of the monsters. I know there was a lot of monster stuff. That was and some I didn't see a lot of gargoyles, but I know a lot of other people saw gargoyle stuff. So, okay. I always regret just. Is this Punk when he shaves his stash off? Oh, I don't look like that at all. Nor am I in black and white. Anyway, so here's what it looks like. You have the Phantom of the Opera. It shows you like the different looks that you can do for him, which I think is actually pretty cool. And then here's everything that you're going to get. You get a staff. You get a hell of a robe. You get the hat. You get all the hands. And then you get the, 3 different head sculpts. So, and yeah. Action figure sold separately said $17.99 for Kurt Russell at his Ross. Yeah, like I said, we had a whole bunch. There was the other thing one too that was there. But yeah. So 3 stars I'm in for Phantom stuff, but he absolutely hates the Yellowstone stuff. Yeah. I know one's a TV show, one's an action figure, but I mean when 3-star Darren here talks about how he doesn't like 1883 or 1923, I might be getting the dates wrong, of those Yellowstone shows, he gives no credit whatsoever when it comes to any type of TV show. All right. Mezco Toys. my love-hate with mezco, which I really do have. I thought they would have shipped my Doc Nocturnal yet already, because I got the thing saying they're supposed to, but no dice ship. All right, Doctor Doom, estimated to be here September 2026, $180. Now, mezco is expensive. I admit that. Though I'm not a fan of like this Doom. It looks very clunky, and I know it's supposed to look like that, but 180, even for mezco, seems a little steep. Yes, look at this. Action figure sold separately. 1883 was good. It was really good. Like a 3-star. Definitely not for Yellowstone stuff. I'd buy some 1883 figures. 1923 can kiss my entire ass. That's just nasty, dude. And I'm sorry, but you're wrong. 1923 was awesome. I've never rooted. I normally don't root for this. For people. I usually root for people to have a failure. That's when I actually wanted to do well. That was when I actually wanted it to do well. So Spec is saying it was 140 on its initial release. And I think that's where I would expect it to be, but 180. And again, I know there's tariffs, there's different things like that. There's 100 other things that it could possibly be. Anyway, here we go. I mean, it looks like Doom. I do like the soft goods, but the stuff around it is very, again, it seems very clunky in many, many ways. But again, that is Doom, for the most part. I just don't really care for this. Oh man. I'm going to have to. My son needs something. I cannot believe I have to do this. My son needs something. So I'm going to have to play. I got to do something because they have an appointment tomorrow. So give me a second here, and I'm going to figure out what I have to do. I will be back. Do not go anywhere. 91 people watching. Please hit the like button. I'm not going anywhere, but I have a commercial. I have something that I got to play for. What do I have for 3 minutes that I can play while I try and figure things out here? Here's Moss Man.
Welcome back to Late Night with Mothman. Tonight's guest, he's the man behind the 36-hour Toys for Tots Punkathon. Please welcome at this time, live via telephone, Punk with Toys, yeah! It's great to see you, great to have you on the show. How you doing today? I thought I was told you to stop Collins Maze. Lawrence, I thought you just meant for that day. I thought maybe you had the grumble dust or something, just need a little bit of privacy. But, you're here now, so most people think that your personality is 50% G.I. Joe action figures and 50% falling off a skateboard. But you've done this great thing with the Punkathon, and now it's 2 years running, and you're making all this money to donate to the kids, and that's awesome. I mean, listen to all these phones going off from our call center, Lawrence. Phones have been ringing off the hook all night. Was it? Where's Tony's Figs at? Tony's Figs said he was gonna come answer some of these phone calls for us. Baseman. Put one of them phone calls through. Hi, caller. You're on Late Night with Mothman with special guest of Punk with Toys.
I'm on the air.
Yeah, you're live.
So, Punk, I just want to say, man, I love your channel. It's got me through some real hard times. Man, I agree with everything you say about Ohio, too. It probably should be turned into a parking lot. Go blue, am I right? But I gotta say, I don't really like when those Boss Man skits come on. His little beady eyes kind of give me the willies and.
Oh, okay. Thank you, caller. Thank you. So, Lawrence, I know you're really busy, so we're gonna let you get back to your 36-hour stream-a-thon. But thanks for joining us. And is there anything you want to say before we go, Lawrence? Hello. Oh, I think we got disconnected. Oh, he hung up. Well, I guess we still got a whole bunch of more exciting shows going on tonight through the 36-hour stream, so you can catch people like Allison Troy and Toy Connections and Bees Battlegrounds and all sorts of other fun stuff. So make sure you keep watching and you keep donating. And let's get back to the show.
All right, I am back. This is what happens when you do a show alone, and then your son thinks you forgot something, and you have to walk away. It's crazy. Quickly here, Yojo Daddy says Yellowstone sequel incoming about Casey as a special agent ranger after losing his family. I don't think he loses his family. Yellowstone, Tulsa King, and especially Mayors of King County are all amazing shows. And 1883 and 1923. Yes. Y Marshalls. I don't think he loses his family in it. I think they're in it, but he goes off and he becomes a marshal. We're actually covering it over on the TV terminal with the guy I do a show with, Adam Vale. So, and Bald, I know, but I saw it. I did see it. It looks awesome. We're gonna showcase Rocky Dennis as wait, who is that? I don't know who that one is. Pebble Boy or whatever. Brute Scale saying 180. You know what I can get for 180 in a Vietnamese coffee shop? M. Hatfell says, is this Doom a reissue? It sounds like it is, according to Toy Optics. It sounds like it is, according to Toy Optics. Ask him. Spec, is this a reissue? Because he said it was initially at 140 when it came out. So anyway, it does look. I mean, it looks decent. And here he is, like kind of whooping up on the Fantastic Four. It's one of those very, very awkward looking characters. He looks frumpy. He looks kind of frumpy. But I guess, I don't know. I'd rather, for me, I'm not a huge Doom guy. Obviously, I have two Dr. Dooms here, or I have a Dr. Doom, and then I have, what's the other Doom? I don't know. The one with Dr. Strange's cape. But yeah, everything about this, again, doesn't interest me. But if you're a huge Dr. Doom guy, then I'm assuming this is something you're going to want. But I just look at them and I'm like, I'm good with the Marvel Legends ones that I have. For me, except he doesn't have a cloth cape. But I can order a cloth cape for much cheaper. But anyway, here's everything that he does come with. 2 different faces, 3 different face sculpts. We have his gun. He's got the book, different belts. So you can accessorize him for sure. And then obviously his stand and flight stand. Different hands, multiple hands. He have double horns hands. Who doesn't love that? His little gun. So he has a whole bunch of stuff. No doubt about it. And then I think this is maybe where they start looking at the stuff that they're adding, and they're looking at why you're going to spend $180 if you are. Maybe you're not. It's not sold out, but it seems to me like on Mezco's site lately, the only stuff that sells out right away that goes on the wait list is their own, Rumble Society, their own properties. So, all right, to the 4 Horsemen, which we discussed a little bit earlier. I discussed a little bit earlier. There's yes, it is in the Marvel Legends one that I have. Um, it is in the one of the Marvel Legends ones that I have. I didn't know about it, but it's the same gun. But yeah, so War Chest is here. Doom looks amazing, but damn, that's expensive. All right, so the Four Horsemen, they showed off some stuff here, and the first thing we're gonna get is this is part of their role playing game, and looking at this guy, he is the Jagarism Ranger character pack Mythic Legions, the role playing game. Base player Rogue, which is $30, and the character pack is $15. So this is a Kickstarter on Kickstarter. Now I guess we kind of had a spirited debate about what companies should use Kickstarter and which ones shouldn't. And again, you cannot argue with any of the Four Horsemen cultist. And again, I do collect Four Horsemen stuff, but the fact of the matter is, and they're not the only company that has cultists. So, but I think that they're an established company that they don't need this. Now, Brick Something tried saying that, one of the reasons why they use Kickstarter is because this is for the role-playing game. And there are people that do role-playing game that look at Kickstarters. Now, I feel that at this point, you can advertise. And again, you already take the order. Like you already take the order before it's even, before you even produce it or have it printed up. So I don't understand the purpose of doing a Kickstarter, but this is a Kickstarter, which means if it fails, I guess you don't have to pay. We know this isn't going to fail. Because the Four Horsemen stuff, I mean, in all honesty, other than what we see mostly with the Cosmic Legions, they're doing really well. And even Cosmic Legions don't do awful, but their resale value. And again, you do not collect for resale. If something goes up in price and you can sell it, that's awesome. But it's a kind of a telltale when it comes to Four Horsemen because there's stuff normally doesn't go down in price. And a lot of those people cannot get rid of the Cosmic Legion stuff. So you can mix and match the parts. I do think both of these look really good. I really do like it, but a lot of these parts are just going to be reused. They are going to mix and match them, just like they've always done. This is a true kit bashing line that is that has amazing paint, sculpt, and everything that you can imagine. Stu for Lunch jumping in here says, "I dig the Catman." I like the Catman too, but I actually really like the Ranger. And it looks like he's like a little elf. It looks like he has elf ears. Maybe I'm wrong. But this is $15 for this. So this is everything that you get if you want to turn him into a cat. And again, you can use it for other things if you're interested. Graf says the bodies seem sort of short or the heads are too large. No, I believe that they're supposed to be short. Perceive Velocity jumping to say, in my opinion, the Horsemen are trying to reach people who are not part of the cult. And that is good, and they should. But going back to the Kickstarter, and again, you're already doing like this big, I don't understand how Kickstarter can get to more people in the toy community, but I guess you're trying to go into a game, but you're not creating a game. If you created a game, but you're using action figures. It seems weird to me, and I don't know why. Why I don't see how it benefits. I guess is it. And when I look at Kickstarter, I think Kickstarter should specifically be used for people who are trying to get something off the ground, or again, a company that hasn't done well, or maybe they're getting into their second line, or it's something extremely expensive and they want to see if it's if it's going to work. So it's a little different. Toy Optics says, interesting. This is a Kickstarter when the Dragon was crowdfunded in-house. Exactly. And again, like that kind of, other than saying that, hey, this gets out to a wider net, but I feel like, again, how, you have the resources to get out to that wider net, to promote this. And you already know this is going to be successful because of looking at it and everything, like what it is. So, all right. But here's the back of the figure if you are interested. $30 is not a bad price at all for their figures. But yeah. And Perceive Velocity is saying, haha, I've been ordering Mythic Legion since the original Kickstarter. The hardcore fans are kind of cultish. I guess I'm a member. Okay, well, it depends. You can be, I'm all in on G.I. Joe, but I'm not going to be cultish. Like, you have these cultish fans, and I'm not just, again, it's not just Mythic Legion. It is other brands too, that they will tell you that the sky is pink when you can see that it's blue because that's what they were told. I've had people argue with me about their articulation and that, oh, no, the new articulation is so much. New articulation is not that much better. It is better. Yes, it is not that much better. And it's easy to say, well, you're looking at a Marvel Legend or a G.I. Joe Classified. Well, it was easy to say that until Savage Crucibles came along and said, whoa, we'll give you fucking articulation, and we'll give you amazing sculpt, and we'll give you amazing paint, and we're going to give you amazing characters. That's when it gets blown out of the water, just in my opinion. Into Mystery says, bang for your buck marketing, get in front of a new audience, and have them cover your costs. Why wouldn't you do this? I mean, again, I guess I don't understand how you can get. I guess I don't understand how you can get more of an audience by going to a Kickstarter rather than what you already have. I mean, again, I feel like there's other ways to advertise. And again, when I think of Kickstarters, I think of companies that are trying to get off the ground, someone who's trying to do something. Even smaller companies that maybe they've been successful. Just my opinion, And again, maybe I could sit down with, a Kickstarter expert and go through it, and they could explain it in better terms than what I see visually. Because to me, it just, I think it's a bad look. And I'm not the only one that says it. And I think that's where you kind of get it. Like, there's a lot of people see this as a bad look. Yeah, trying to get the tabletop, but again, I don't know. And Brick something said they did a stream tonight. In the first 15 minutes, they addressed how using Kickstarter achieves what Into Mystery says, and I tried to say this last week. Yeah, and again, like, maybe someone could explain it better. And again, I'm personally not going into everything or watching everything and sitting down with someone. I get that. It visually, optically, it just is a bad look. And I'm not the only one that says it. So, and Perceive Velocity says there are a lot of RPG game fans who wouldn't hear about this without the Kickstarter search function. Again, I don't know. I'm just saying, visually for me, the perception is, again, seems odd. Anyway, if you want it, you can go over and get it. It's gonna fun. You're gonna get your stuff. It is a established company. You don't have to worry about them fucking you over or anything like that. So you're gonna get it no matter what. So go for it. If you like it, get it. And Brick says it's a bad look for people who may not be into it anyway. Makes perfect sense for people they are trying to reach. Okay, well, that's fine. All right. So the Legendary Warrior, available at all our events for 2026, used to be $50. It is now $40. Why is it $40, you ask? Well, it is because they have removed 2 head sculpts. And we talked about this early on in the show. And I guess we'll probably touch on it a little more. So anyway, basically you can make 2 different figures. I think that this character looks really good. I think the price point isn't bad. For $40, it does look good. If you don't have any 4 horsemen, I will once again talk about how they have some of the best, probably have the best female face sculpts going in toys. Like they knock it out of the park with the female head sculpts. The paint is amazing. The sculpt is amazing. You normally get great accessories. I will reiterate once again, their articulation it's poor for today. But you're also not buying Mythic Legions, 4 Horsemen stuff for the articulation. I tell people that all the time. Unfortunately, you have other companies coming in that are showing that, hey, we can do articulation, and it will eventually hurt your product. So here's what we're looking at. And I'll probably pick one up at Joe Fest if I don't get one sooner. I do really like, I really do like these figures, and I'm probably in the minority of liking the knights and actual human characters more than their orgs and all those types of creatures that they make. Oh, look at this. Pop Blender jumping in here, and he's been a member for 27 months. So normally I drop on over and I do something, but since she's standing right here, what do you get?
Which one?
He's been a member for 27 months. So it's time to tell Phil Collins.
Fucking Phil Collins.
There you go. A live
He
fucking
is
Phil Collins.
Sick. He is in 24/7 care. And he just turned something 5.
I think he just turned 75.
75.
It doesn't matter.
It
We don't
doesn't
hate Phil Collins. We just say fucking Phil Collins.
because he's everywhere.
Like he's all happy that he got a live.
See. Did he ever wish you happy birthday? Tell him.
Well, he wasn't here when that. Olivia wants you to wish her a happy birthday from last Wednesday.
Whoa.
See?
It's not even a week ago.
It says.
It's not even a week ago. I don't want you to. I would enjoy.
Okay. All right. Shelf Presence has jumped in here, and then we have Kenzo's Creations. Brick Something Quickly says 4H sculpts and design is on its own level. Sexiest, I think that's what it's supposed to be for me, has the articulation that is as good as 4 Horsemen sculpt and paint. Again, the articulation is very important in this day and age. And yeah, that is something that they lack. Yet the argument with the cultists and Brick, I hate to say it, but you see these long posts, you're starting to sound like one. War Chest has jumped in here, member for 23 months. Unfortunately, she walked away, so you only get the
fucking Phil Collins.
Maybe if she comes back, we'll have her do one. Okay, Sexiest is a brand. Okay. Anyway, so here we go. So this is what you were supposed to get. The 2026 is going to be legendary, right? So they give you this this legendary warrior, and you can see there are 2 other head sculpts with red, and one has face paint. Now here's everything. Um, Here is everything that she does come with. Okay, then I apologize. A lot of stuff going on. I didn't learn to read. I've watched you guys do it, and Spec, you fuck it up when there's 4 of us on there. I'm gonna ask any of you guys to do a show for 3 hours on your own. Spec, then you'll know why you got fired. Anyway, so this is what they were supposed to get, and this is where the controversy started. And I will reiterate once again that it was a bad look on whoever was going around spamming people saying that this is not the license holder. And I think everyone knows who has the license holder, and that is Boss Fight Studios. Now, I feel like people have decided that it's going to be they're pointing at Boss Fight Studios. From my understanding, there have been some streams that have personally attacked Boss Fight Studios about this. And their Red Sonja figure, which I reviewed the figure. Is it perfect? No, but it has some issues, and it has caused all kinds of memes out there. Even I got involved in it because it's just fun, right? This is what you call poking the bear. But it doesn't help any when you are. It doesn't help your brand, and I'm not talking about the 4 Horsemen. I'm talking about Red Sonja. Whoever owns Red Sonja, basically spamming everyone that is saying how much they like this and saying that they're not the licensee. Now, once again, the 4 Horsemen are notorious for doing homages to other lines, other brands. Obviously, we all know, well, not we all, most know that they do homages to Masters of the Universe. This has never been an issue. They've done homages, if I am correct, to Conan. Like, they do this all the time. And I don't think it's a bad thing at all. You can't tell me that Toylanta exclusive is not an homage to Roadblock. It looks like you pulled Roadblock out and you threw him onto a buck of your Cosmic Legions. But they didn't call it Red Sonja. They gave it 2 different head sculpts. The optics of what the Red Sonja owner or whoever it is, if it is them, looks bad. Jay Astor says, "Oh, hey, is that Red Sonja?" And Into Mystery says, "This is way beyond 25% different." All right. Well, again, they have other head sculpts. Now, I'm glad you brought this up because as much as I disagree with what they did, and again, I think it's awful. Mamu Nestor says, "You can't show that image, Punk. The official Red Sonja account was Suya." So going back to, where was it? Yeah, Into Mystery saying this is beyond the 25. This is where, if someone is saying, "Hey, you know what? You're trying to say you're Red Sonja." If you do this now, this was a quick Google search when I was like, okay, well, how close is it to Red Sonja? They literally put her on a throne holding the sword very similarly. And I went, ooh. Now, obviously, you can't get that pose with the 4 Horsemen. All right. I could probably get it with the actual Boss Fight Studios one. But you see this here and you're like, Oh boy, that's you. Okay, now, yeah. But yeah, if you do this and you're female, then I'm a huge fan. All right, and then there is this one here, and you can see the face paint. You can see what it looks like, and then this is from the movie that I didn't even know there was a fucking movie. I didn't even know there was a movie. Did anyone else know there was a Red Sonja movie made in 2025? Because I should have fucked it. Then again, the eye makeup, now they gave her blue paint to the forehead. Now, again, this is not saying that I have a problem with it, but it is very hard for me to not be like, hey, I kind of see where I kind of see why they're like, yeah, there's someone that already has the actual, the actual rights for this. Like you don't own the property. I get that. But again, this is what it is, right? Bring the other picture back. I'm not saying that wasn't a good picture there, Super Kevin. Yes, Stephen Key says 56% on Rotten Tomatoes. I've learned that Rotten Tomatoes is probably not always the best, but I did end up watching. I did watch the trailer for it, and I'd say, I think I can find 2 hours better to do with my time. So with that said, I did drop this video or this picture this weekend. I was just like, I've seen other people doing the same thing. Again, now I did this picture before I did my slides, and I kind of saw the other ones, and I was like, oh boy, I can kind of see where you're going. Matthew says, yes, it was released in theaters and it failed. Pop says it's brutal. Is it brutally awesome though? But yeah, so I put my redheads with this. I put a little caption. It's on Instagram. It's one of those, it's one of those things where I think the way it was approached is wrong. But one of my biggest issues has become, in all honesty, what we see happening with it, and how people, and I know there are people that do not like Boss Fight Studios. And again, I have heard stuff, people said they stole IPs, they have copyright infringement. That's all fine. But this is from everything that we can see has nothing to do with Boss Fight Studios. But some people have went and they have linked it to them. Either way, the owner of Red Sonja, and I don't know if the post is still there. There are some people that went through it. They've done shorts on it. You can find it. It is the way this guy had spammed, or this company, whoever it is, the way they spammed, threatening to contact content creators that like look and like review this or talk about this. It's just it's the wrong way to approach things. There is a right way, and then there is a wrong way, and I think that we can figure that stuff out. Okay, no matter how you do it, you've made it. You look bad. And I'm not talking about Four Horsemen. I'm talking about, and now you're making the licensee, which is Boss Fight Studios. They're like, whoa, shit, dude, I'm taking straight bullets and I haven't even done anything. Or at least I'm under the assumption that Boss Fight Studios hasn't done anything and they're not complicit in this. Now, maybe I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, I'll be the first one to admit when I'm wrong. I think I've done it before. Remember Mountain Heart? Yeah, I admitted I was wrong. Broby Kenobi says the Red Sonja movie starred Bridget Nielsen when she was with Stallone prior to Flavor Flav getting with her. Fucking celebrity rehab. Well, didn't they get together because of Celebrity Rehab? Flavor Flav had a chicken joint. Had like 3 chicken joints here in Michigan. He opened up. He had other ones, but he opened up here, and it was open for about 3 months. And the people said they never got paid. Action Fix says, had they not done the picks the way they did, there would not be a problem. And I tend to agree with you there, Ed. Again, I didn't see those picks. When I Google searched Red Sonja, that picture of her sitting on the throne popped up, and I went, oh boy. You basically said we're doing Red Sonja. Well, okay. You said we're doing an homage without saying it. And the reason why I say that is that's what Four Horsemen has done. They do homages. They don't try and steal other people's property. They are go to Big Bad Workshop, right? Operation Monster Force, the Crimson Moon, all this Soldiers of Fortune. They don't make any bones about it that these are homages. They've never once said, "Whoa, that is not a hooded Cobra Commander." Like, they fucking know exactly what it is. And they want to get it out before the Hood Cobra Commander comes out, right? That's probably why they pushed it out so quickly. Jay Solar says surreal life, not celebrity. Thank you. I hate those shows, but those are ones that I remember watching. The surreal life was really bad. Brick, I think I don't think people knew till just now. I don't think everyone knew till just now that there was a movie. But let's be honest, even if they knew that there was a movie in 2025, they were going to go to the Bridget Nielsen. All right, let's be honest. They were going to Bridget Nielsen. Toy Optic says Bridget Nielsen was the Hollywood doorknob during her time. Oh my gosh. But either way, I think it's a bad look, and then it gives Boss Fight a bad look when I don't think they really had anything to do it. I think they're just taking some stray bullets for this. And it's unfortunate because I do think that Red Sonja, and I think the steampunk one, even though I decided I'm not going to spend $60 on it, I think it looks really good. The Red Sonja figure that I have, is it perfect? No. And I point that out in my review. I didn't need a complete nude body, but in the end, it wasn't, that wasn't the big issue. I just think the way they went about it, and the fact that it got to me, because I'm not really paying attention to this. I think it was Matthew that actually brought it up, and then I was like, "What the hell is this about?" And then you look into it. I forget who I watched the short on, or the short that popped up, and he basically goes through like what they were doing, and I was like, "Man, like that. That's like." You look bad. I understand what you're trying to protect your IP, and that's great, but you're doing it in a way that makes you look bad. So, but controversy sells. In the end, it won't hurt either. It won't hurt either company. Just like Ramen Toys, what did they say about that? The Tom Cruise head. Hey, anyone that buys these 3 aviators, I forget what the name was, you're gonna get this head sculpt that happens to look just like Tom Cruise, right? So that's exactly how it is. Hi, it's me says it's nude because it's part of the hacks system. It's an epic hacks. They are interchangeable. That's fine. They could have still had painted underwear on it. Again, it's not okay. Let me explain. Because there were people in my review that were like, why are you saying you feel like a pervert? Because when you're just posing it, not on camera, and not trying to keep it in frame, you're posing it as done. When you're doing it on camera, Oh, you are watching it. You are seeing every single time the fucking thing comes up or the bra moves and you're like, I wish there was just some painted on underwear here because it was difficult to do a review. And I wasn't the only one. The first guy that did it, I watched his review. He said the same thing. A matter of fact, I don't remember who it was. He did more edits and he put in there, hey, just so you know. But it's one of those things where when you are messing around with it, it was not my most fun video to do because of that. It was kind of annoying. And Graf says restricts movement, which could result in death while in combat. Sonya has her reasons. A matter of fact, in the trailer, when she gets the armor, she actually makes a comment about is this really going to protect me? He was like, nope, but they're going to love it. And yes, Spec Toy Optics, you are absolutely right. I am like the prudest of prudes. That is totally me. All right. So, enough about Red Sonja. Enough about Stone Dar and Rocky Johnson. Can you hear Roman? He's downstairs and there's no one with him. I'm going to take a quick second so I can yell to my one child that is here to go take care of him. So, you know what you guys need? You need some of this.
Fired? Have you recently lost your job with a major toy manufacturer? Tariffs got you down? You may be entitled to sharing your story on a major media streaming outlet. We want you to dish the dirt. Call Circle of Jerks at 900-555-0979. We will exploit you for our personal gain. That number again is 900-555-0979. Circle of Jerks. Every client gets a cookie.
All right. Hold on. Can you guys hear Roman? I really hate that he's stuck downstairs all the time. And now there's no one downstairs. He hears me. He's like, I should be part of that stream. I should be the star, not that little girl that was up there. He's not like that. He loves that girl. Anyway, 3-star says there aren't enough toys of freaky explorative warrior chicks. Okay. Stu for Lunch says Stone Dar loves Smoking Joe's on Saturday nights. That is true. Which I will be on Smoking Joe's, the straight edge guy on Smoking Joe's this Saturday with, from my understanding, there will be Same Time Toys. There is going to be Same Time Toys. There is Darren, 3-star, Pop, Tony. I think everyone in the toy community is going to be there. So anyway, we got a little bit of G.I. Joe to talk about. And it's basically the topic. There's no G.I. Joe news. No G.I. Joe news to get into. But yes, there is always a little bit to talk about. And G.I. Joe is here. So, with everything that's come out recently from our Dawn Moreno, which I watch people lose their shit because Snake Eyes is not a girl. This is race swapping or sex swapping. I mean, first off, Dawn Moreno is completely different. It's like Miles Morales. Doesn't have the same name, nothing like that. And the amount of times I hear people bringing up being a pacifist, that, hey, you know what? What's her name? That Lifeline. He's a pacifist. He was not a pacifist. He was considered a pacifist in the cartoon. We all have our ideas of lore. And as I look here, we have 117 votes right now. And I asked, what is G.I. Joe canon to you? And 37% of people say the cartoon. 34% say the A Real American Comic. 12% say the file cards. Now, the file cards, I will say this. The file cards and the comic really do go hand in hand. And then you have your headcanon. And I think we all have our own headcanon here. Woody Triple Two jumping in here saying, that's what happens when I'm not here. It takes all yous to fill my Tims. Hey, I was already disappointed that he didn't feel that I was enough star power that he could just have me on. Then I realized he's having like 10 other fucking people on. So anyway, we got 88 people watching quickly. My moderator and Pop Blender also do a show. And here's a quick commercial from them. And I want a new one already.
Idiots! Incompetent buffoons! What is it now, Commander? Consummate morons, incapable of coherent thought! Are you watching that show again? Yes. Why didn't you just watch Pop Blender and Matthew's discussions, news, reviews before the show came out? Whether you agree or disagree, the perspectives provide enough context to know if the show or movie is worth your time or not. Yes, I know. I will not miss another Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central on Pop Blender's channel. Be more than once a man by watching Pop Blender and Matthew talk about pop culture, news, discussions, and reviews on Tuesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central. And now you know. Televiper, be sure to hit like, share, and subscribe so we do not miss another episode, and hit that bell notification.
All right. So, as I talked about the cartoon, the comic, the file card, and the headcanon. And I think we all have our own little headcanon of what we feel G.I. Joe. And then there are people that, like myself, we pull from a lot of different things. But on September 12, 1983 is when the first G.I. Joe cartoon dropped. And I specifically put it here. So you can see the date is September 12th, 1983. And everyone loves the cartoon for the most part. They have lasers. Scarlet is with Duke. You know, it's fun. It becomes part of the, you get the Deke show, which is pretty much awful. But the arguments and the discussions that I have had with people where they try and say that, well, why are they doing this? They should do that. And what a couple people may not realize is in June of 1982 was when the first comic came out, written by Larry Hama. Now, early on, I talked about in Star Wars, whether you like it or not, whether you like Jar Jar, whether you like the prequels, whether you like George Lucas doing the special editions. George Lucas created Star Wars. He is. If George Lucas says, yeah, sorry, you know what? Those 7, 8, and 9 movies sucked, and I don't consider them part of the Star Wars lore, then I'm going to believe him because it's his thing. G.I. Joe was around before A Real American Hero, but A Real American Hero is the one that most of us will cling to. And Larry Hama is the George Lucas. He wrote it. He created these characters. There are a reason why some of these characters you very rarely ever see. Cobra Law being one of them. Shipwreck being one of them. He didn't like them. Soul Brother jumping in here saying, Jet Jetman, what it do? And we have Allison Troy saying Scarlet and Duke forever. Yeah. Or for never, you meant. Big M saying, what's good, everyone? So as you can see, 1982. Now, here we have the first figure, 1982. So once again, the file card, which obviously was on all the figures, I think mostly written by Larry Hama. The comic written by Larry Hama, June 1982. And then we have the cartoon of September 12th, 1983. I think one of the reasons why so many people think that the cartoon came first, or why the cartoon is the canon, is they remember the comic book movie, or I'm sorry, the comic book commercials. I know I can remember Zaymot and Tomax whipping around on the loop on the ferret. I can remember that. It wasn't part of the cartoon, and I think people start to think that. Now again, when someone will argue with me about certain things, if Larry Hama didn't really show it and talk about it, I'm sorry, if Larry Hama didn't write it, it's hard for me to say that it's canon. Now you can like it, but he really did create everything. And this was all loosely built. This was all loosely based after the comic. And I know a lot of people didn't know the comic. But it's like reading all those extended universe Star Wars books and being like, no, this is really what happened. But it wasn't. If George Lucas didn't say, yeah, I want someone to write that, then it wasn't real. Like, he didn't do it. The creators are the ones, in my opinion, that have the final say in what really should have happened. Jay Solo Arts is here. He says, as a kid, I avoided the cartoon because it clashed with my headcanon so much. And I feel most of our headcanon is actually closer to the comic because a lot of our headcanon came from reading the file cards, which really kind of explained what the figures were, even going back to were they mission books, the books that told about everyone. We saw Rocky and everything. But this, again, everyone's a little different, but understand this. When someone argues, it tells you, hey, it's not really how it's supposed to be. It's because the majority of us, I don't even want to say the majority. Most of us know that the comic book is really what is the lore when people look at G.I. Joe. The figures are based after what we see in the comics, because once again, they were working hand in hand for the most part. Order of Battle. Thank you very much. But yeah, so this is where we start to see, again, so look what I didn't say. The comics were more mature, and I appreciate that. That's another thing. They were still more mature, but even as a kid, I can remember going up to 7-Eleven and seeing their little carousel rack, and I'd buy them at 7-Eleven. That's why I didn't know what a comic book shop was. I remember Transformers being there, Thundercats, He-Man, obviously like that Batman and stuff. Or you go to, for us, it was Perry Drugs. They used to have them in the magazines, stuff like that. Yeah, Clint Jorgensen right here. Quick Kick really beat Storm. Yeah, see, exactly. Right there tells you that the cartoon is not canon. Because how can Quick Kick beat Storm Shadow? Or Spirit? Come on. Or how does Storm Shadow take apart a Hiss, or was it a regular tank, by doing a few karate choppy blocks? And Graf says, I like the Hasbro created canon, but my head canon would always trump it where needed. Scarlet and Duke and Roadblock, for example. See, I can never go with Scarlet and Duke. That is just wrong in so many ways. And again, it's okay to be the cartoon, but I think that's where a lot of people don't realize I've had this talk with numerous people that they're like, I don't know why, they've never done an actual cartoon accurate. I'm like, because that's not what it was based after. The cartoon was loosely based after the action figures that we got. That's the way that it was. That's the way that it always has been. And hell, that's what they're doing right now, even with the Energon universe, it seems. And Super Davin says, hey, Mainframe got Zorana in the cartoon. And I'm not saying that there weren't some good episodes. Worlds Without End, that alternate universe. I wish that they would do a sequel to that. I would love to see a universe based on them being sent to a different universe. But yeah, Highest Me says, honestly, if you care a ton about what's canon or not in G.I. Joe, you need to take a good look at your life and wonder why you can't enjoy things for what they are. It's not about not enjoying it. It's about having a discussion. It's about having a discussion. And, this is where, you have that discussion. And again, I've told people, I don't like Cobra Law. I didn't like it. I know very little about that fucking movie because I hated the fucking movie because I hated Cobra Law. But I still pick up the figures, and I think they're actually pretty damn good figures. So, I enjoy it, and I like the fact that they're actually leaning in and creating some characters. I wish they would actually lean in and create more of the comic characters. I think there's a lot of comic book characters that we've never gotten, and I want to see more of it. But it is, again, when you are doing a YouTube show, you kind of got to have some sort of topic, something to discuss. All right. So, as I said, to the people that argue about it, the cartoon came out well over a year after the first comic. So there was already 12 issues of the comic. Now, don't get me wrong. I know that, in June of 83, they didn't start writing the cartoon and had it all done. I know that. But there was already lore. There was already the file cards. There was already this stuff. They specifically talked about, hey, we couldn't put Scarlet having a romance with Snake Eyes when he didn't talk. It didn't make any sense to a kid tuning in to watch it. Lego Star Wars says, Punk, you're not allowed to have Cobra Law. Well, and that's just the whole thing right there. Like, I readily admit from day one with the Cobra Law, I'm going to get it. I am a completist as of right now. Will I always be? I don't know. But I am a completist. I'm also one that can say they've taken some wonderful figures. They've taken some shit figures, Raptor, and made them awesome. Not everyone agrees with that. But you look at those figures, and they're really good. Allison thinks Raptor was a cool figure, same with Crystal Ball. I'm talking about the real American hero. They're shit. They're awful. And Don Moreno, again, created by Larry Hama. And they didn't, there were a lot of people that wanted to see when they did Dial Tone or Doc, they wanted the female version. And I'm like, you will hurt the line so bad if you do that because not enough people know about it. They know what they had in the 80s and they want it in 6-inch form. I've seen people complain about how they ruined they've ruined Airtight because he has knee pads. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? They gave him knee pads, and he's not enough alike. He doesn't look enough like the real American hero. Wow. Like, that is mind-blowing. All right. So the other thing is the file card. This is another argument that a lot of people have. Now, the argument is one of the stupidest things ever, because on the live stream, Lenny literally said, we gave him the pistol because he came with a pistol, but we made it so you could remove it if you didn't want him to have it. And people were still mad that they gave him a pistol. And then there were people who said, I know that he had a pistol in the with the figure, but he was always a pacifist. It even said on his file card. It didn't. It never said on his file card, not on the original. Did they go ahead and maybe retcon it later on? Possibly, because that's what the cartoon did. But the fact of the matter is, nowhere on here does it say he was a pacifist. He had a pistol. Doc was the one that didn't have a pistol. He only had the flare. Now, what for? I don't really know. Now, this is just to talk about what we had as kids and what people consider the lore is. The big thing that we are seeing, and it is a discussion that comes up on a lot of these Facebook pages and a lot of things that people leave on my reviews. Now, mind you, I'm doing these reviews and I try and answer every single comment, which means I read every single comment. But we have people that are mad because the classified line is not making the exact same figure. Now, there are a couple things here, so bear with me, because I think there's going to be a few things that you have to get through, because I don't agree with everything, but I also do understand this. Okay, Highest Me says Larry is a major part of Airtight lore that he has sore knees from kneeling on the hard ground. Not my Airtight. And again, so here's the whole thing. From day one, Lenny has said, classified is its own thing. If you look, and early on, I had people bash me because I said, God, when Canada was getting stuff before us and everyone else, I'm like, man, a real American hero, we can't get. It doesn't say real American hero on it. You're absolutely correct. It does not. This is the G.I. Joe classified line. You have the G.I. Joe real American hero line. There are different lines. You have G.I. Joe Extreme line, right? So classified, like he said, we can do whatever we want. So Leatherneck not being as big as some people wanted, to the point where they throw hissy fits about it. And yes, some of these fuckers throw hissy fits about Leatherneck not being tall enough. Now, does Leatherneck look like a little kid next to Gung Ho? Yeah. But I think that has more to do with Gung Ho and Roadblock just being extremely larger than they probably should be, like height-wise. Same with Serpentor. What people tend to not understand is that the classified line, it doesn't need to be a real American hero. The confusion becomes, and I truly do believe this, the confusion comes that they make some of them so close that it confuses people. And I would say over 50% of the G.I. Joe collectors aren't the same people in this stream. They're not toy collectors. They're just G.I. Joe collectors. They're not paying attention. They're not watching all these interviews. And again, that's not for everyone. They just want an upscaled version. And what they see is sometimes Footloose is almost dead on. But then you get Raptor, and he's not even close. And before anyone says no one wanted the original Raptor, yeah, I had somebody moaning and bitching and complaining on my review that they ruined Raptor by what they did with him. Same with Crystal Ball, right? So, unfortunately, I feel like the G.I. Joe team doesn't do a good enough job of saying, hey, this is the classified line. We can do whatever we want. Some figures are going to be very close. Now, I'm of the opinion at this point that what you really should do is say, hey, you know what? This is classified. They're going to be classified up. They're going to be different. We have this retro line, and this retro line, we're going to give you pretty much what you had in the 80s. Now, if that means that, hey, you know what? We have to reuse the buck, but hey, we're going to do a different paint scheme, maybe do some different weapons. That's what I think that they should do. And this is where you run into this. Jay Solowat says Leatherneck could have been 1/12 equivalent to 5'3". Be happy with what you got, folks. I wish he was. And Chad Bro says, I thought the Leatherneck was inspired by you. And that's why I have no issues with him being short. So this is where there's a problem. His classified is supposed to be its own thing. The problem is that if they don't make something close enough to the original, then people don't want it. Go all the way back to the original classified. How many of you were collecting classified when it started? How many of you even have the first 2 or 3 waves or want them, right? Go look at those collectors, right? Most of them don't care about it. They didn't like it. They didn't like the gold. They didn't like the Nerf guns, right? And I'm not saying I disagree with that. Not saying I disagree with that. But they tried something different and it didn't work. And this is where sometimes when you see a classified figure, you're like, he's almost identical. Why is there going to be a reason to put Quick Kick on a retro card? Other than he's been out of circulation for long enough. I want him on a retro card. He hasn't been around. That Quick Kick is so retro. There's no reason to put him on a retro card other than they will because they have the buck. They need to reuse it, and not everyone has them. And then we have Prime Artist IG. I wish Classified would go back to the neck joints that the first wave had. I agree with you. If you ever watch any of my reviews, I point that out all the time. These figures need to be able to look up, look down a little bit more. I don't know why they changed way too much, too often. I am with you 100% on that. I'm with you 100% on that. Like there is something that they changed something and they did not make it better at all. And then we have Commander Unicron says, I have 100% of the classified. I do too. And I'm not saying that not everyone does. I'm not saying that, I'm not saying that not everyone does or not everyone was in on it from the beginning. I'm just saying there's a lot of people that didn't have it, that didn't want it, that got pissed off about it. And again, this is where, unfortunately, I feel the G.I. Joe team has a hard time doing something new. I watched people look at a new character and say, oh, that looks pretty cool, but I don't like it. Why don't you like it? Exactly. If you don't like something, and I've said this before, so we have Sundown, right? I think Sundown looks pretty cool. Something different. I've had people mad that it's not military enough, which, again, makes me giggle because have you seen the G.I. Joe line? Have you seen it? There's a lot that's not military. You get past the OG-13 and you start going, oh, hey, look. A lot of this shit is not military. But they give you a new character, and people instantly start ragging on it. They instantly start saying how I don't like it. I don't like. Now, if you don't like something because, hey, I don't like it because of this or that, but if you don't like it just because you didn't have it in the 80s, you don't really care about the line. And you may just want what you had as an original. And that's perfectly fine. I saw someone the other day. They said, what do you consider is the OG grunt? I think it was grunt. Which one do you consider the OG grunt? The actual grunt or the green shirt? And someone was like, I consider the classified grunt because that's what they named him. Exactly. Like, people were so mad that it's like they did something different and they didn't make it the exact same. So when you get on a retro card, guess what? People are going to bitch. Oh, they changed it enough to put it on a retro. Like, again, if people aren't complaining, they're not going to be happy. Now, once again, someone can say, you're fucking complaining. You're absolutely right. I'm sitting here complaining because I have a show to do. Prime Artist says, and the guy with no shirt, no shoes is, yeah, that's another one of mine. Or, again, I did not serve in the military, but I've watched a lot of military movies. I really enjoy them. I have missed Marines with baby blue camouflage, walking around with just a vest, shirtless. I don't know. I didn't serve, so maybe that's a big thing. I know it's very popular at the Blue Oyster Bar. That I do know. Izzy Trevi jumping in here saying, they had me at the first Snake Eyes release. And I totally missed that. I completely missed that. I mean, I got it. And I got it when Paul Suri did them. But I had no idea there was even a 6-inch line coming. I do not remember how I even found out about it. Obviously I did because, well, you guys are here. And even though I am not a G.I. Joe channel per se, it is heavily what I talk about, and obviously is what the biggest part of my collection. Commander Unicron says the classified team is walking both lines, military and fantasy. This way, all bases covered. Nothing wrong with that. It's smart business, and I agree 100% with you. I don't expect everyone to be a completist like I am. Now, don't get me wrong. It is brilliant for them to put the numbers on the boxes because it will get completed. Now, I love G.I. Joe. I have loved G.I. Joe since I was a kid. I can remember where I was sitting, what I was playing with the first time I saw that. The first time that I saw that cartoon. I mean, that commercial. So I saw the commercial, not the cartoon. It wasn't out yet. Now, I was out by the time you had Battle Force 2000 and Ninja Force. I was done, and I never really cared for that stuff. But I come back into the line. I've collected. I picked up stuff. G.I. Joe, Joe vs. Cobra. I had that stuff. Someone just recently posted a figure, the stupid Destro with the grinning face that came opposite Gung Ho. And I remember I had all those. I had all those figures. At least the first couple waves. There were 2 packs. So yeah, I've been picking the stuff up forever. Now again, when I find out about classified, I go all in. I'm an adult. I have adult money. I can spend what I want. And yes, the numbers make it. And the numbers, again, collecting everything is one thing. I would have bought everything to begin with. The numbers, and Tony will know this, and I see Tony has just jumped in here. Tony knows this. The numbers have driven me nuts because I like showing them all in order. You guys see me standing there now or sitting there at the beginning of my reviews and at the end of the reviews. I have them all behind me. I've specifically made shelves so I can put them all in order. And even Tony said that actually looks pretty cool. And he tosses all his boxes. So it is one of those things where they did a wonderful job. But walking that fine line, and again, this is what they need to do. So, Commander, I absolutely love this comment. What absolutely drives me nuts, that sentence made no sense whatsoever. What absolutely drives me nuts is going through the Facebook groups and you're reading through the stuff and they're losing their mind. And it's the fact that they're so adamant in how much they hate something and the vitriol that you hear. And it's like, because they haven't given you the OG 13. Do you realize the reason why they haven't given you the OG 13 is because they know a lot of people, had they got the OG 13 right away, they would have been gone. They want to keep people on, and hopefully some of those people that only said, hey, I only want the OG 13, well, while they're waiting to complete that, they're seeing new figures. And they're like, you know what? Man, I kind of like this figure. I want to stick with this. Marvel Legends does the same thing, right? These people that complain that they haven't finished teams, same thing, right? I would love for them to do more Age of Apocalypse. Loved Age of Apocalypse. I don't remember shit about it anymore, but I loved it when I read it. They're slowly going to trickle in different characters, different figures into different lines. But their whole goal right now is, hey, we want to keep people on here. Eventually, you're going to get it. But then you do something like you go, hey, you know what? We know we gave you Breaker, but he wasn't as close as you thought. So we're going to do a new Breaker. And I have no problem with it. You know, there's a lot of people that said, hey, there's not that many more figures they can do. Well, you're wrong. Not only is there Sergeant Savage and G.I. Joe Extreme and Renegades. I know people want Renegades. And obviously, they really need to start picking from the Energon universe. They have the IDW stuff. They still have a lot of figures that they've never done from the Sunbow and the cartoons. There are so many characters that have never been done from the comic, and also creating new characters. They do a Sundown and people instantly go, that's a stupid story. And go read most of these stories. They're not the greatest stories in the world, right? I mean, you know, none of them, in my opinion, are, you know, the Sixth Sense. We're like, holy shit, I was totally tricked. But they give you little trinkets. Headman has captured Sundown's brother. And then Lenny goes, I didn't confirm that we're gonna have Headman. Well, why the hell would you bring up his name? That's part of the story. And yeah, Perceived Velocity says you're 100% correct on the OG. Yeah, and they're gonna do it. And then when they finish, again, go look at some of these figures, right? They're all those OG figures. If you don't think that Short Fuse is coming out on a retro card, come on. You have to give us the full. I mean, you don't have to. It'd be stupid for them not to. Just give it a little bit of time, right? And then Prime Artist here is toying around, I guess. IG toying around. I wasn't paying attention. Don't like it, don't buy it. I've skipped stuff that doesn't interest me. I don't get mad because they made it. And I make that joke all the time. And I make that joke all the time when I'm like, there's stuff that I don't like. Now, I will bitch. I will complain. Again, anyone that's watching me before, they know my thoughts on Super 7. But I think, you know, I have an issue with Super 7 because I feel they give a poor quality figure and they don't care. I mean, I've literally listened to the guy say, hey, what are we going to do about it? and it's good enough. Well, no, it's not what you showed off, right? They could do better, right? So I will talk about things like that. And I will make jokes and I will make comments and rip on certain little things. But I'm glad that people are getting stuff that they want. And go to like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I could care less about turtles. Or should I say I couldn't care less about turtles. G.I. Joe Turtle, I don't care. Like, I don't care. I mean, Spec here is going to buy them all, even though he says he's not going to. He will. I don't care. But if it helps bring in new people into G.I. Joe, that's awesome. And even though I'm an idiotic completist for stuff like this, there are people that like Cobra Law. I don't know how, but they do. I personally do like this stuff. Like, I'm actually looking forward to seeing what they do with Galabulus. Toy Optic says, "How dare you be happy for other people?" And then he says, "I will not." Tony, what do you think? Well, at some point, if Tony and Baldy are here, at some point, will Spec have almost the entire Turtles crossover G.I. Joe line? I'm saying yes. Should have done that as a fucking poll. But I'm just saying there's different canon. And again, when it comes to a real American, and I think the reason why for me, why we have the canon is most people look at a real American hero. And because the G.I. Joe cartoon is called a real American hero, they think that, oh wow, this is what it is. Remember, the cartoon was loosely based on the figures. The figures were never based on the cartoon. Now there were some. I believe Cobra Law was one of them. You notice Cobra Law was never in the comic. Larry Hama, if I am correct, pretty much said, "I hate that shit." He didn't like Shipwreck and he didn't like Quick Kick, if I am correct. Again, two figures I don't like, although I have lots of Shipwreck. I think it's the one figure I have more than any. Just kidding. I know it's the one I have the most. Tony says Spec will grab all the turtles. That's why I incorporated the turtles font in his logo. Look at that. Oh, called out. You see this? See the Toy Optics right there? It is Transformers and Turtles and a camera. Tony created that for Spec. And those are two things that none of us care to talk about on Circle of Jerks. At least Tony and myself are like, oh, it's Transformers talk. Oh, it's Turtle talk. Perceive Velocity says, "Sorry, man, more kids watched Sunbow than ever read Marvel Comics. The cartoon is the core." And see, that is where you're absolutely wrong. It doesn't matter that more kids watched it. It was the person who created it. That's what I'm getting at. Larry Hama created a real American hero. He is still writing a real American hero. If I'm correct, he's the only one that has ever wrote a real American hero. And maybe if the cartoon wasn't G.I. Joe, a real American hero, the cartoon didn't have it in there, I could say, all right, well, it's a different canon, but people try and cross them over. And just because more kids saw it doesn't mean that's what the actual canon is. And again, these are toys. Have fun with them because no one's coming to take them. I've said that numerous times. Pinkerton is not showing up at your house to take your toys because you decided to play with them differently than what Punk said you should. I've actually never told anyone how they should play with the toys. They should open them. But if you don't, I don't care. I don't have to deal with that. And okay, so I respect Hama, but he was just an employee. Again, he wrote everything. The only reason why a real American hero is a thing is because of Larry Hama. It is the only reason. And I will stand by that. I'm not saying they wouldn't have created G.I. Joe. They clearly would have. Oh, Toy Optics says, okay, Jack Kirby was just an employee. Woo, man. And Stan Lee was just an employee. Yep. Hayatmi says, Larry Hama has done a great job, but G.I. Joe never belonged to him. He wrote a great story to sell toys. Uh-huh. Yes. And the story that he wrote is what is a real American hero. And when he finally, again, I'm not saying there's not other G.I. Joe lore. I'm glad Energon is something completely different. Well, I'm going to tell you, you need to go and listen to some things because Larry Hama was more than just an employee. Yeah. I sat there at AR and I listened to some guys talk about Larry Hama when they were there and what he did. It's yeah. But again, there's other G.I. Joe lore. There always has been, and there always will be. There's always gonna be something a little bit different, right? Again, you have the Renegades, and again, I'm not talking about that's different. And Joe vs. Cobra is different. The G.I. Joe movies, it is different. But the real American hero lore stems from what Larry Hama and what the comics did. Because even as the comics left Marvel and went elsewhere, Larry Hama stayed on with it, creating it. But anyway, you do what you want with your toys. I mean, in all honesty, it's just a good conversation piece to have. Again, if you want to think that Scarlet belongs with Duke, that's on you. Just don't bring that shit in my house. I will fucking punt Duke like he was fucking Baxter right off a fucking bridge. But yeah, it is definitely one of those things. Let's see. Liquid Identity says kids read the file cards, sometimes on the pegs in stores. Those stories help sell the toys and creating lasting. And they did. And again, this is why we have complained about not having actual file cards. And again, they could be doing they can be doing their own file cards in different ways. And they finally are. And again, I've said before, like there's no reason not to have the file cards. You already had the majority of file cards already written. Maybe you had to tweak a little bit for classified, but you could have done it. So, yeah. But yeah, that's kind of where, again, it's all relative to what you like. I mean, it's all relative to what you like. And as long as G.I. Joe is surviving and it is doing well and they are creating new toys and a line that I've absolutely loved, then yeah. But yeah, Perceived Velocity says, apparently I found a line in the sand. I'm sorry if I stirred the. No, again, no one's yelling. All right. It's not like you're on here, promoting that Hooded Cobra Commander is back and he's going live and you're having conversations with your fucking self. If you don't know what we're talking about, go back and watch Circle the Jerks from last week. You may see me fucking lose my shit on someone who deserved it a long, long time ago. But anyway, it's almost midnight. I'm cutting it a little short from the normal 3 hours. But yeah, let's see here. Super Devin says, you guys think they will finally release Flash and Grand Slam with with the red catcher's armor, or will they give him the Grand Slam, or will they give Grand Slam his silver catcher's armor to make them look different? They'll do both. I think that they will start with the original, whatever the original was. I think that's what they'll do, and then eventually they'll do the silver one. Oh, you know what? They may actually do silver first to piss off people. I could see them doing that, and people will lose their mind that they've waited all this time, and then they do silver first. Make me laugh. I could see that. Just these guys know what they're doing, whether people think so or not. Like, they know what they're doing. And we got Zakanan jumping in here saying, Tony Figs, I think you'll be silver. I'm not really sure what that means. What's up, Zakanan? Listen, this team knows what they're doing. Whether or not some people think they do, it's funny to read some of the comments when it comes to these Facebook groups where they think that they have no clue. And I've said it before. It would be nice if Hasbro, again, they're working for the big, mean, evil corporation. It would be nice if Hasbro would allow them to say certain things. Hooded Cobra Commander is going to come out this year. They're going to show them off. People will run around saying, see, they were going to wait. No, they weren't allowed to do it. Not only are there numerous people in the industry that have talked about it, I specifically talked to someone, Corey, who worked at Hasbro at the time when they told them, you cannot do Hooded Cobra Commander. The story's out there. It's not like I had some secret knowledge on the whole Hooded Cobra Commander thing. It is all out there from numerous people. I just did a video about it like 3 or 4 years ago. New management, new people in charge. Hooded Cobra Commander is going to come out. I think that was one of the reasons why I do think that Big Bad Workshop wanted to get that figure out before they did a name only reveal or digital reveal of it. They want, because again, they have so many made and they have so many hoods because no one thought it was going to get made anytime soon. So, but anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you guys all so much for tuning in. I had a blast. I actually, again, I made it 3 hours without very much news. It looks like we got a few new people that popped in here. Hopefully they'll come back and they'll stick around, as I'm not for everyone. I can be pretty brash, but if you do like this stuff and you like what you see, tune in tomorrow, 6:30-ish p.m. Circle of Jerks over on Baldylock's channel. There's me, there's Spec, that's Toy Optics, there is Tony's Figs, the junior lawyer, there is Baldy, and then there's another guy who just disappears. His name is Terry. Again, even though he's come in here from time to time, and he's even been on Thursday with a friend, I don't even think he realizes I do a show on Monday. But he also works midnight, so there's that. But anyway, tune in tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. And then after that, head on over to Pop Blender's channel, 10 p.m. They do the evening blend. It is more of a the pop culture channel. So you always need a break from toys. Let's be honest. If you're watching toys all the time, then your name is probably Matthew Matson. I've never seen someone that watches so much toy tubing as that guy. That's why he's my moderator, because I can get a lot of good information out of him. But I am out of here. Have a wonderful night. Tomorrow, Circle of Jerks. Thursday with a friend. The voice of Joe Fest, David T. Allen. I think that I shouted him out early on and said he was going to be on. But anyway, this Thursday with a friend, David T. Allen, the voice of Joe Fest. You can watch my review, or watch my walkthrough, and you will hear his voice because he pops up at the most inopportune times. Anyway, everyone have a wonderful night, and I will see you tomorrow.